Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's the trade of the day, Monday night Zoom edition. Bitcoin was pretty mellow over the weekend. We had some decent economic news this morning, and Bitcoin went up a little bit, probably about 1.5%, and the altcoins went up a little bit as well, but not a whole lot of action. Regardless, let's check out my Bitcoin chart, get the big picture. Okay, you folks should be seeing my Bitcoin day chart.
Yes.
Thank you. And we are still in the same range we've been in for quite a while, since June. And then I've got this mini range here. 20,400 seems to be the resistance, and 18.4 seems to be the support. And we've bounced between these areas a couple times since late August. We're in the middle of the range, maybe towards the top of it a little bit. We did have a green candle close for Monday. We just passed the UTC time, so it's Tuesday in Europe, and probably where Craig is and David. So anyway, we're down a little bit, not a big deal, but overall this 19.5, 19,000 area has been defended by the bulls pretty well for the last few months. So unless they get tired, one would think that is the bottom, but it wouldn't surprise me if we tested that a couple times. News-wise, actually, let's look at Ethereum, that news. That came up quicker. Dollar dips, that was the better economic, not so much news as happening. So the dollar dipped a little bit, and a weaker dollar is better for risk on assets like the stocks and crypto. So that probably had something to do with today's mild gains. Okay, any questions or comments about the markets overall, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything else? Yeah,
There's
okay.
not much happening at all.
There really isn't. I was tracking, buddy coins. I had 4 of them today, and only one had any alert go off. That was Raven. So I'm in a long and a short on Raven. Otherwise, not much going on for me today. There's one thing to deal with. I'll get back to that in a minute. So, okay, well, let's go over to Altcoin Alert, see if we can find some trades or some setups to at least put some alerts on. Let me reload, update this. And I'm on the altcoin radar. Easy mode is off. I'm going to sort by AA score. And I was doing this about an hour ago. RUNE came up. It's a coin I like to trade from time to time. And Ethereum also. We'll look at that in some detail. So let's look at RUNE first. I got the chart open. Okay. Well, that was bless you. Okay, I thought you were asking a question. All right. Yeah, 5-minute chart on RUNE has been trending up nicely today. We are up. You know, 5%, not bad. We're towards the top of the Bollinger Band at the moment. 1.6% between the Bollinger Bands, not very good. Looking real squeezy. See, was that Monday where we had actual dip sequences happening during the show? That's always fun. I don't think we'll have that today. So we'll have to be setting our alerts to get better entry points. Regarding price alerts, let's see if we can spot some support. Got some support right about here. Multiple touches in the wee hours of the morning and in the late morning, right around $1.51. So that would be one option. See some more right about here. Again, this is more of an art than a science. Around 148. And again here at about probably 146, 147, yeah, 146.5. So I see these multiple touches and then bounces back up. That's a short-term support since we're on the 5-minute chart. That's the low, the medium, and the higher support. So those are potential options for price alerts if you don't want to deal with what we're about to talk about next, and that's the indicator alerts. I like to do those on the 15-minute chart. And that's because if one of these alerts comes up from the bottom, it usually means there's a dip sequence happening on the 5-minute chart. So I can just bounce over there and check it out. Okay, so looking at the MFI and the RSI, the MFI has been a bit more sensitive. So when it drops below this 20 value and goes back up, it's usually a good entry point. So we have that here. So you can see we've got a nice run up, 3%. If you hung on to the very top, 7% in 14 hours, it's a great day trade. So that would be one way to go. And you do that alert like this. So right click on the MFI, crossing up on the 20 once per bar close. And I usually put my source. This would be an AA score. So that's how you do that. Or you could use one of these other indicators. Got divergence, many indicators here. Again, divergence is just a disagreement between the price action and the indicators, and does sometimes have some, or most of the time has some predictive value. So each of these was pretty good. That actually coincides with the MFI dip we just looked at. There's another entry here. Actually would have been a little bit better. And there you go. I've shown this many times in other Zooms on how to download these indicators. Find those here in TradingView and type in divergence for many indicators and it'll come up. Be sure to get version 4. Be advised this does repaint. So yeah, sometimes it'll show up maybe here, then disappear, and then show up again. So it's kind of annoying, but it's alert friendly and it's right most of the time. So that's why I like it. And if you want to do more of a trend trade, everything I've shown you so far is really kind of a buy the dip sort of approach. I like the super trend buy and sell. And again, this is why these alerts weren't going off today, because this buy triggered at 9:30 last night on the 15-minute chart and there hasn't been a change since. So wouldn't surprise me if we saw that on other charts. So had you gotten in on this, confirmed with other indicators, MFI would be trending up, RSI is trending up, MACD is crossed, histogram is dark green, TDFI, which is a trend direction force indicator, is up. So that looks pretty good. All those are in alignment. If you want to add a momentum indicator or like an EMA or something like that, that would be reasonable as well. What's the EMA? This is why I don't like the EMA. I don't use it that much because this would have said that you wouldn't have taken this trade because it's below the, what's my setting on this? It's a 20-day EMA. Maybe that's, you should put the chart. So yeah, you're kind of right with the 20-day EMA. It's right following the SMA line pretty much. Yeah, it would have been, that would have been an okay trade to take if you use the 20-period EMA. Okay, well, I went through that kind of fast. Any questions on RUNE? All right. Let's see what else we can find. And yeah, Ethereum. Ethereum's up almost 2% last 24 hours. So usually I have it like this, but I can make this look like the others. Ethereum's had a pretty good move today. It's up almost 3%. Well, we already know it's over 2% today. At the current time, it's slightly above the SMA line, and we've got less than 1% between the Bollinger Bands, so that's not a great place to get in. For a price alert, you've got some support here right around 13.15. A little bit more here, 13.07. This is pretty tight. Again, down here, just under 1300. So we didn't talk about this range that much. So let me go back to that. Yeah, because I drew in this, so I'm a little out of order here. I drew in this mini range on Ethereum. It's between about 1380 and 1250. So it's been this really tight range for the last few weeks. Yeah, last 3 weeks, just bouncing in here. So it's actually towards getting a little bit towards the top of this tight range here. So that's something to consider if you want to trade Ethereum on a day trade or a swing trade. Okay. All right, we talked about price alerts. Let's go over to our indicators. And we went over the dip indicators on the last one. Let's focus more on the buy and sell trend indicator here. And this buy triggered. And yeah, everything confirmed. So MFI, RSI are up, MACD's crossing, TDFI is in green. So that would have been a go and a pretty nice trade. Yeah, probably 2 to 3% today. In a situation like this, I would probably move my stop loss up. I would put a stop loss in above break even. Say if I got in here, I put in my stop loss. You know, once it got up here, maybe 1% or so, and then put my stop loss at break even, then maybe move it up a little bit or use a trailing stop loss to protect profit. Okay. If you want to use divergence, look at that real quick. Yeah.
On your stop losses to prevent losses, how much of a percentage behind you do you put?
Well, that depends on, I don't really use a percentage. If I use stop losses, I'm looking at support and resistance. So let's go back to this trade here on the super trend. And if we're going to take this trade and get in here after the buy signal goes off and the other indicators are confirming, my stop loss is probably going to be, let's say I'm scalping this and using like 25x leverage or something, you know, 3% seems a little high. I probably wouldn't have gone that low. Maybe towards the bottom of the Bollinger Band, probably somewhere around here between 1.9 and 3.2%. I want to get under this swing low here. So that's, you know, how I would usually do that. You know, I'm more into ladder buying than using stop losses, though. On, like I said, on a larger leverage trade, I would use a stop loss.
Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm. But what I was talking about, actually, let me clarify that point, and then I'll take another question. But what let's say I took this trade, you know, it's still within my stop loss, and say usually around 1% or 1 to 1.5%. This is when I'll put a stop loss in profit. So now my trade is risk free. So let's say I'm at this 1.6% profit. I don't want to get out yet, but then I'm going to put my stop loss, say right here at about 0.2% or so. And that way, if it does get triggered, I'll break even, maybe a slight profit, and that'll cover my, you know, my fees as well to the exchange. So that's something I do with some frequency. Someone else had a question?
Yes, yeah, I did. That buy signal, would you have taken that? Because both the RSI and the MFI are above their overbought zones. Would you still go ahead and take that, or would that scare you away?
You know, I've been burned so much on taking these. We're going to talk about this when we go to iCoinPro, by shorting off these, even though it would have worked here, at least on the short term. But I would have been, yeah, I probably would have taken this, because I've seen a lot of times where it does break through this this overbought area and just keeps going, just chills here for like a few hours. So
Okay, and I had one other question. You look at the you put for the trend indicators, you set at 15. When you see a signal you like on the 15, will you go down to a 5 minute and work your entry on that, or will you just go off the 15?
It depends. Assuming I'm at home with my computer, I'll probably look at the 5 minute to see, you know, what the situation is.
Okay.
See, that happened at 12:30. Is that 12:30 a.m. repeat? No. Yeah, that's this afternoon. Yeah, I wasn't tracking this particular coin at that time, so I didn't see this this movement, but probably some of the other ones triggered as well. I think the Raven one buy triggered around then. I got in on that. So yeah, that's a good thing to do, because that's what started me doing this, is like, well, how do I get alerts on, how do I get 1, 2, 3 dip alerts? And I can get a single alert on a dip, though it's not really an alert. You know, iCoinPro will tell me that it's one of the tools they have, but it won't tell me which one, whether it's the second or third. And this is the closest I found. There might be a better way to do it than this, but this is the closest I found to warning me of something dipping and then coming back, which is the ideal place to get in. Something that's dipping and showing strength coming back. So that's what I'm looking for.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So, and then we were going to look at divergence real quick. And the bullish ones did pretty well, obviously, because you know, the market's been trending up today. So yeah, this one here from Saturday afternoon actually took a while, but you know, 3%, not bad in one day, especially on a weekend. You know, this one triggered last night, you know, 2.8%, not bad. Ethereum is not going to move as much as some of the other altcoins are. So, but it's also not going to plunge and wreck your, you know, your stop loss or you know, as likely as say Doge or, you know, DIDX or one of these lower volume altcoins. All right.
Hey, CJ,
Yo.
looking at that Ethereum chart at 1148 to about 130, would you call that a 1, 2, 3 dip there?
1148.
1148 this morning to my time, Chicago time, to about 130. Would you call that a 1, 2, 3 dip?
On the 15-minute, or should I go over to the 5?
I'm looking at the, I'm looking at the 3-minute chart right now.
3-minute chart.
Okay.
All right, so okay, 11:48 for you is going to be, I'm 2 hours behind you. You're in Central Time, so that's going to be right here. Yeah, this is intriguing because you got 1, 2, 3, not quite, 4, not quite. So we've got some dip action, but what we don't have is the bubble. So the Bollinger Bands are pretty straight. They bubble out slightly, but they're still pretty straight. So it's not a deal breaker necessarily, but I'd be more cautious on this because there's not much volume. I might even use maybe a MACD cross or something to let me know when to get in. You see how close the MACD is. It crosses right about here. So, that might be an entry point. It does dip before that, but not much. And then you're off.
If you'd gotten in around 1:30 Central Time, that would have been a good entry point.
Yeah, it's not a classic 1, 2, 3 dip, but there is some dip action going. It just doesn't have the big bubble we like. See.
Yeah.
Just see if I can find an example. Here's the bubble we like, but this one's going up. So, well, I've talked about it many times, so I'm sure you guys remember. If not, there's a link to the 1, 2, 3 dip training in the emails I send you guys on Sundays and Mondays. So it's a good idea to review that from time to time. I'm probably overdue in my watching it this year. So, all right. Any other questions? Okay, we will look at one more on Altcoin Alert, and then we will head over to iCoinPro. Okay, we looked at AA scores. We can sort basically any of these columns here. And I like to match up the Elder Impulse Daily, which is a technical indicator, with long-term sentiment, which is a Twitter data. And whichever one has the least amount is what I sort by. So we have 80 bullish on the long-term sentiment. We have 36 on the Elder Impulse. I'll sort by the Elder Impulse and look for something to match. Quant has been pumping lately. I want to look at that on iCoinPro. So let's look at H-bar. Yeah. Bullish on long-term sentiment and Elder Impulse. Bullish on AA score up 2.5%. So it still has some potential. Let's check it out. Okay, on the hour, it was way up here, big drop, recovered most of it. I lost it again and coming back. This one's been really volatile. On the 5-minute, trending upward to today. Up a couple percent, not bad. There's some pretty well-defined support here. If you want to use a price alert at 6.17 cents. And another group of candles down here, right, just above 6 cents. So those are possible price alerts. On our 15-minute chart, it's pumping up. So we want to try to catch a retrace and a continuation of this pattern. So we can do that a few different ways. Does look like the MFI again is the most sensitive over the RSI. I'm thinking of keeping one of these and ditching the other, but sometimes the RSI catches it and sometimes the MFI does. So we got the dip here around midnight on Sunday. So that one did pretty well. Up 2%, not bad. Another one here last night. Almost 4%, good stuff. On divergence. Bullish divergence, didn't do that great. That's a pretty good entry. Actually, a little bit better than the MFI entry. Yeah, almost 3%. This one here is about the same as the MFI entry. So you could go with your divergence or your MFI. Might lean towards the MFI because of the repainting issue. Okay, and if we want to catch the trend, see what super trend has to say. Pretty good. So we're shorting something. Yeah, 1.6, not bad. I'd be on leverage on that, probably 5 or 10x. This one here does dip for a while before coming up 2% and almost 3% at the moment. So yeah, the last 2 trend alerts did okay. This one did not from Friday. On the 15-minute chart, if you use the buy and sell on the super trend, you're probably only going to get 1 or 2 entries a day, sometimes none. So if the market's kind of slow, it may not trigger at all. So keep that in mind. Of course, not all of you are maniacs like me and want to make 5 or 10 trades every day. So, okay, any questions on HBAR? All right, any questions on Altcoin Alert before we go over to iCoinPro? Okay, iCoinPro, the home of the 1, 2, 3 dip. So let's check out the fear and greed index. 24, extreme fear. We've seen worse. And the RSI SPY and the Buddy Coin Crawler are my favorite to look at. If we're looking for dip trades to go long on, we want to see values 30 and below on this 1 hour RSI search. And we don't really have any close. All these are in the 40s and they're mostly Bitcoin pairs, which I don't trade. This one perpetual is 43.49, not low enough for me. So this doesn't interest me at the moment. But hey, sometimes we short things. So I can reverse sort this and look for coins that are overbought, that are above the 70 on the RSI. And if they're on an exchange where one can trade leverage, one can short these. So Atom is here, Matic. If I'm shorting something off this list, I'm looking for junk. So I actually think Matic and Atom are pretty good projects. So I don't like to short them very often. This flow is not so much. Rose is, these volumes are lower, but not, too low. IOTA, HBAR we just looked at. Lena, Storage, Chili's, that's interesting. That was over 20 cents during most of the drop. And now it's dipped below that. So that might be due for a comeback. I'd be reluctant to short that one. ENJ, maybe. XTZ, it's really low volume. Interesting. CRV, all these could be potential shorts. Let's look at CRV. See if I can remember to treat this as a short, not as a long. Craig helped me last week rearrange things. Okay, on the hour, it has been trending up. But is this just following Bitcoin, or is this something going on with this coin? I think it's mostly just following Bitcoin at the moment. The 5-minute, really squeezy. Yeah, 1.3%. So instead of a 1, 2, 3 dip down here, we got a bubble and a pump. Actually, I can see if I remember how to do this. Yeah, I can flip the screen. It looks more like a dip sequence here. I mean, we're late for that, but okay. So this is one where I put a price alert here. Yeah, there seems to be some resistance right here around 90 cents. We're at 89.3. We're not that far from it, but yeah, I think that's where I would put my price alert. And a indicator alert on the 15-minute chart. Yeah, this one has been above. Yeah, like Mark asked about the, when I take a trend trade when the MFI's gone up here, here's an example where the MFI just stays up and the coin just keeps pumping. Goes up 10% after it goes above the oversold area or overbought area. And that's, I'd say that happens a high minority of the time, probably about 40% of the time. So
Maybe because it's in a lower time frame.
yeah, we're on the 15. So
You see what you're saying, though? That's
Yeah.
good to know.
yeah.
So is there a way you can differentiate whether, is there any indicator that's going to tell you whether it's going to continue cruising above the MFI or
No.
What? No.
Well, maybe this trend direction stays there for, shows us that. Actually right about here. We go over, let's see, we go over on the MFI here. And, the trend direction doesn't really help us. You could wait for that to happen. If you get this kind of reading, then that's a good sign that it's at least going to go, it's going to stay there a little while. Sometimes it'll do this, it'll bounce up and then bounce right back down again. But, but you see how these stay up there for quite a while and this keeps pumping up, but it also zigzags too. So, indicators are somewhat helpful, but.
Could you see what the 1 hour looks like as far as the RSI and MFI?
Yeah. So if you're doing more swing trading, you could, well, I'm not sure what entry would help you here. I have seen it. I know a trader who suggests waiting till you get above this. I think he teaches it on the RSI, but trading, doing scalping when in the direction of the RSI break, which would have done really well here. Because you would have gotten in here and picked up, 5%. That would have been a really good day trade. But I don't think this happens more than 50% of the time. I think it's less than, though slightly less than. Like here, had you gotten in on that one, well, that's still pretty good at 3%. I just want to trade more frequently. That's why I don't use the hour very often. But for those of you who have maybe full-time jobs or you only want to make a couple trades a week, there's nothing wrong with trading on the larger time frames and using some of the same principles that I talk about to just on a larger time frame. But I don't have much experience with that, so I don't do that myself. Okay.
CJ, you mentioned before that you don't trade, say, CRV versus Bitcoin.
Right.
Have you ever looked into that and considered it?
I did it last spring. As you know, I like the Crypto Ran Man YouTube channel and Sheldon the Sniper on there, and he was teaching it, and so I was following along with him. I actually did pretty well with it, but yes, last year was a very different trading situation than this year. So something happened to make me discouraged. I can't recall what it was. Well, the market started to drop and it started messing up my trades, and I had to move some things around, so I didn't stick with it. But it just feels to me like I'm trading two coins, and it's hard enough to trade one. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing it. A lot of traders do. And
so ultimately you're trading one coin against the other coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you think, the altcoin is going to move more than Bitcoin, you can trade the Bitcoin pair and pick up more Bitcoin, and then, vice versa. But I had a hard time getting my head around it. So I haven't done it enough to talk about it intelligently on on the Zoom call, but yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing it if you like to do it that way. It's just not something I do. So
Is it an area, you probably won't know this, but is it an area where like it seems to me it's probably a bit more of an advanced technique. Is it a technique that you could possibly get better results?
yeah, it's better to trade that way in a bull market when, say, the Bitcoin dominance is down and the altcoins are pumping more than Bitcoin. You know, if something like, you know, Chili's or Comp or something like that's going up 10% and Bitcoin's going up 2%, then you can make, you know, trade that Bitcoin pair and then pick up more Bitcoin. So
Kind of like Forex for crypto.
yeah, I probably have just enough Forex knowledge to be dangerous, but that could work. All right. I want to look at one more and then we'll wrap it up. Let's see, where was I? That was the RSI SPY. Actually, did I finish that? Did we look at a possible, so you're on the 15-minute? That's not the one I want. Divergence. Yeah, like we've got a negative divergence that just hit a couple hours ago and it's trending down a little bit. As you can see, these didn't do very well, so keep that in mind. Or do we trend trade this, which I've been doing more of lately? Wow, this is odd. The sell, this doesn't make any sense. It's showing a sell down here, but no buy. So I'm not sure what's going on with this. Oh, I know. There's a buy here. I wouldn't think a buy would have triggered around here somewhere.
It's below your screen view.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is. I see one here and here.
Yeah, there's one more past that red line or near the red line right there.
Oh, okay. It's this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I feel better about it now. So yeah, that would have been a really good buy entry yesterday afternoon. You know, 10%. And you know, all the indicators I have on here would have confirmed. So yeah, I've been using the super trend with these confirmations more and more lately. Okay, I wanted to look at one more on the Buddy Coin Crawler. I was looking at this earlier. And I sorted by the average low to SMA and quant came up, you know, almost 6%. Usually looking for 4 or 5% or higher on these average low to SMA. And this is the 24-hour one. And this is the current one. This is actually a shorter time frame. But I'm so used to using this one that I haven't really relied on this one yet. Okay, so yeah, we have quant in here. So I've got that one up. This one's been, you know, quite volatile lately. Let's check it out real quick and then we'll wrap it up. Okay, on the hour chart, last probably week, 10 days, it's up 60%. Took a big drop earlier today, then started coming back. A 5-minute, kind of one of those slow dip sequences here that didn't really bubble, but it did bounce back up from that. I'm seeing some maybe price alert right here around 190, 192. Would be a good entry, pretty good entry. That's really the only one I see at the moment. On the 15-minute chart, take a quick look at divergence. See if you find some decent bullish divergence. This one is trending up, so you might want to go with bullish. And yeah, this one's done pretty well. 4.5% there. 7%, about 6% there, and 5% there. So those are all really good. Obviously, the bearish ones didn't do as well, but this one did pretty well. Yeah, 12% drop. Yeah, you could just alternate these trades and either use tight stop losses or ladder buy techniques to trade the range on this. On the super trend, yeah, that buy signal was in for a long time, from the 13th, for 3 days, 4 days, and another one just triggered shortly before this call started, but not really confirmed. Well, not confirmed by the MFI, but the other indicators did confirm it, and it's dipped a little bit. So this one's in play on the super trend. You might want to do what I call a confirmation alert and see if one of these indicators will push up and confirm. This one's trending up a little bit now, so we got a green candle. Not financial advice, but if you're trading quant, this might be a potential entry. We've got resistance around here at 220. So that's probably where I'd look to get out on the aggressive side, and maybe around here, 4% or so, more conservatively. Okay, any questions on quant?
One question. I always
Okay.
have questions. Did you say you do not see MFI as being confirmation for that last buy?
It is now. It wasn't a moment ago.
Oh,
Or actually,
okay.
maybe it's the RSI that was kind of pointing down, but now it's creeping up a little
Yeah.
bit. So,
Okay.
and
Thank you.
if, like I said, I need to overhaul this because these are too similar, but they're so good at picking up those potential dip entries that I like to keep them both on there. But I probably need to add a momentum or something like that on this chart. I've got another layout I'm tinkering with that has momentum and more trend stuff. So maybe I'll start talking about that in another week or two after I've tested it out longer. Okay. Well, that's all I have for Altcoin Alert and iCoinPro day trading techniques. Any questions before we wrap it up?
iCoin versus AltcoinPro.
Should I say AltcoinPro?
AltcoinPro, you like it better than iCoin?
No, not necessarily. They're different platforms, and I've even talked to the Altcoin Alert guys about this. So they've allowed me to talk about iCoinPro, and still share it with you folks. Altcoin Alert is really trying to identify potential coins to trade. And that does overlap a little bit with iCoinPro, but iCoinPro also has the training and more focused on day trading, where Altcoin Alert is, day trading is optional, but you can also swing trade it and do other things with it. And Altcoin Alert comes from CryptNation, which is really more of a, they do more long-term swings and buy and holds than day trading. So they don't mind that I talk about these both. There's some overlap between the two, but I use them both. So I can't really say I like one more than the other.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
You take a look at Ripple.
Sure. I could probably squeeze one more in.
One thing that's intriguing me on the 3-minute chart with the RSI, I think there was a really good setup for about 4 or 5 swing trades to do.
Okay, I'm on the 15-minute chart now. And on what
I'm looking at the 3-minute
you are scalping.
with the RSI.
RSI. All right, so yeah, it doesn't quite hit our oversold area here or here, really on any of these. Yeah, we usually want these to dip below the 30 and then come back. But if I see this happen a few times in a row and the, you know, the candle move is is something I like. Like this one goes down to about 33.8 and then comes back. I might set an alert at 35 instead of 30 and crossing up on the 30. Instead of on 35 instead of 30, and like right here, you know, it does dip
Yeah.
a little bit first. And then I'm not sure what your goal is here, but this is about 0.5%. Yeah,
Kept
so
looking at it, it would go up, drop a little bit, go up again, drop a little bit. It's just been doing it all day long.
yeah, I have dabbled with some trading on the 1 minute and the 3 minute. I usually keep it to the 5 and the 15. But yeah, you can certainly do that. And you know, it's not a perfect setup, but you know, the MFI here, it dips below, comes back. But again, if you're looking for 0.5%, you know, yeah, you could lop that off, you know, from time to time, probably maybe 3 or 4 times a day, but you got to set a tight stop to make that worth your while. Usually you have to do either a lot of money or high leverage, or, well, if you just want to build up your, you know, your balance. And I do know traders who are content to take 0.5%, do it a few times a day, and just keep building their balance. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's the lower end of the micro profit system that iCoinPro teaches, and nothing wrong with that. They don't really teach indicators as much. They're more into the 1, 2, 3 dips, and they're focusing on structures more now than they used to. But
I'm
anyway,
looking at it. I'm looking at the EMA 10 and the EMA 15, and they, you know, they continue to just keep going up. They're not really, you know, leveling out.
yeah. All right. Well, let's keep working on that, and maybe give us an update
Yeah.
on Friday. Because
Well, I didn't pull the trigger. I looked at it, but
okay.
again, I chickened out.
All right. Well, we've gone pretty long today, 50 minutes. So I'm going to wrap it up here. If you're watching on the recording, thanks for doing that. Please check out the opportunities in the description below and the comments below. And if you're in Carbon, stick around. We'll start that one shortly.
Thanks for you.
Thanks.